So hello everybody in the Cosmic Earth Weavers. We are finally getting in to properly to Zoom and the connection to Facebook. And Nancy has come back into the group, and I'm just checking to make sure we are live. Let's see. Yes, yes, yes. Awesome. So if you hear us say hi to us, how you doing today? It's apparently Wednesday, March 13th, I believe, Nancy, March 13th.
That is correct, the 13th. Which feels like a very lucky day.
What was that last part?
That it just feels like a very lucky day. I love a good 13th. And a 313 just feels even better. So
Perfect. Perfect. I'm like, what's the card today? Can't
10 of diamonds.
10 of diamonds today.
Yes.
Okay, 10 of diamonds. So just waiting to see if others join us. There's always a little bit of a delay. Of course, we are here live in the Cosmic Earth Weavers community. And today, Nancy and I are going to talk about cardology with the suits. Now, you guys hear us and probably other people talk about, like we just said, what's today? And Nancy said it's the 10 of diamonds. And we talk about these things for the forecasts and within numerology. And sometimes it can get a little confusing. So I'm just like clear up like numerology, cardology, and the multiple other kind of names that people have for this. So when I was taught it was confusing because it was called advanced numerology, and all of a sudden we're using cards, like playing cards. I'm like, advanced numerology, okay, what makes more sense that it's numerology meeting the cards? And so then it becomes more the cardology. So you're divining with the cards, which is cartomancy, I believe that is what they call it. Other people call this the um the cards of destiny.
Yeah, and the book of life.
The book of life. I'm looking at my book underneath my laptop right now. I see cards of destiny. That would be Robert Kemp's book that's right in front of me. But there's a lot. The book of life, cards of destiny. I know there's lots of other ones that people refer to it. So I've recently, in the last, well, recently, I guess it's been a little over a year now for me, I've started calling it more cardology, to not confuse classic numerology. It is a very in-depth system, and we are using the deck of cards, and they all relate to a certain day, a certain birth date, the sun cards, which is also our birth dates. That's why, like, mine's a 6 of spades. Nancy's a 6 of clubs.
Well done, you got it.
Okay. Trying to remember, you have certain people running. I'm like, oh, what one's this one? So we all have one. And probably almost 2 months ago, I think it was in January, in the community, I put a picture, like a post of all the cards that run through the entire year so that you could look it up. You could find your month and the date, and you would go down and you go, oh, I'm blah, blah, blah. And people posted it in the group. Now, we do have people that have done some of these trainings in our community. So this is just maybe a refresher or reflection of certain things. But there was people like, what does this mean? Now, we're not going to get into big, deep training with this today because it takes a lot of time to get into it, and you're constantly learning and growing. Even though this was introduced in 2019 to me, I'm still like growing and learning different parts of it because it is complex, but it's a wonderful system. Today, we thought, let's break it down to just talk about the suits for you guys. What was it? Was it already a month ago, 3 weeks ago, Nancy, that we did just numerology in day numbers?
Yeah.
With the group? So
it's been about, I think it was about 4 weeks ago. Yeah. 3-4 weeks. All right.
Wasn't it just last week we did that? You were sitting in the car, you're going to be taking kids
Right.
to
Field
something.
trips.
Yeah,
Yeah.
field trip.
Totally, right?
But yeah, we did that. So if you guys missed that, it is in the community. It's under the guides tab, and you'll find it under the members wisdom share one, because I have a lot that I'm organizing, and that we do a lot in this, myself, Nancy, and quite a few other members. You're always invited to come and be part of the community and share and be of service. So Nancy, suits.
Okay.
Today, what what would you like to share off the top about suits? Because I look at them as, going through, when I did just like quick little notes for this mini workshop with everybody, I was just thinking, talking about the 4 suits, talking about the seasons, the color, the energetics, those kind of things.
Absolutely. So, as we know, when you're playing with your cards, we all know that there's hearts, clubs, diamonds, spades, and right when whatever card game you're playing, they have their own meaning and their own value and all of that. And so, very similar to life, right? Like we get to look at each of these suits, very much like the seasons. Roberta's always teaching us so beautifully about the wheel of the year and the seasons and everything. And it's beautiful how, once again, we always are seeing how everything ties together, right? That the cards are for us another way of expressing that into the world, another language for us to be able to understand what is going on around us, right? So today we'll go through each of those 4 suits: the hearts, the clubs, the diamonds, the spades, talk a little bit about which season they fall into, the colors, the energetics behind it, what it feels like for us, and understood in all of these different, book of life, destiny, all of that. There is an overarching understanding of each of them, but also, once again, always an invitation to feel into your heart and your intuition about how that feels for you, and how that plays out in your life around you, or how you can shift it a little bit to be like, oh, right, okay. Oh, once again, Nancy told me it was a heart's energy day, and I'm not feeling that. Okay, what can I do to feel it more into my heart on a heart energy day, for example? But so why don't we dive in and start with the hearts? I feel like everything always begins with the heart, right? So I'm going to show you guys the Ace of Hearts, just so that you can, in case you don't know what the card looks like, the suits we're talking about, it's a possibility. We don't want to ever assume, but right. So that heart energy. So when we're looking at the hearts, this is the first season. So very much like spring, right? I don't know about you guys, but I am ready for next week. Like, we are supposed here in the Lower Mainland, we are supposed to get some nice warm temperatures this weekend, and everybody is like losing their mind, giddy, including myself. Like, so we're that newness, that energy of like, what are we birthing? The red, right? Like, so whenever the cards are a red suit, that's more of an outward energy. It's inviting us to participate with other people, express our thoughts, our ideas outwardly. The red energy really just wants us to be able to give into this world, right? So that real spring energy, that birthing, that rebirthing, it's all around relationships, connection, love, joy. You're planting seeds, your alignment. If we're looking at it business wise, or even life wise, like this is like where you're planning. These are around the clients in your life, the other people in your life, possibly, right? So this energy is really supportive of what it is that's in the world around you, and always your feelings, your emotions, everything in the heart.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that heart, I always, agree. Like, for those of you that know or don't know, I've been writing a chapter for our intuitive numerology book, and I've been doing the 5s. And then I have to do all this, write about all the suits of the fives. And for me, I had to really drop in first just to like anchor myself into the energetic flow in the season. And and that heart, right? It is where we start, even in from when we're being birthed and created. Like, we got to come from this space, and even coming into this world, we reach for that nurturing and the care, right? Like, we need that. um and so the suits themselves do go in a particular order, from starting at the hearts, and then the clubs, and then the diamonds, and then the spades. And yeah, so that red, whether it's going to be the hearts or the diamonds, that red energy, there's outwards, there's action, it's daytime, um it's also I feel like it's very much like even they all have interaction of inner and outer, but the red has that more essence of having to an impact out. And with especially our relationships, as we grow, we all go through relations all the time, but important, when we're growing, we are learning a lot about ourselves and relationships, right? um until we kind of start understanding who we are, what we want, how to be loved, how to love others. That kind of care and nurturing really does happen a lot from the very get-go. So when we think of the hearts, that's what I think, is that nurturing, that growth. So anytime we see any from ace, because it starts with the ace and it goes all the way through those numbers up to 10, and then we have the jack, queen, and king. So, that in itself is a growth pattern. So Nancy showed you the ace, and it goes all the way up to that king, right? Just like we can think, any of you that play tarot, because tarot kind of has that way back when connection to the deck of cards. If you don't know that, you could really literally read the deck of cards like tarot cards, because that's what they were doing. So there's that growth pattern that starts from the ace and tarot all the way up to that king, right? So there's that reflection there. If you work with tarot, you're working with the same essence within these suits. And of course, in tarot, we would be working there with the chalice, the cup energy, just to give you guys a bit of reflection in that, where that actually the balance between the two come. So do you guys know, do you know what your cards are? I see some of you here in the community, do you guys know what your cards are? And like I said, I know I posted that a couple months ago. Do you know what your sun birth card is in Cardology? Not your life path number, but that. Nancy, do you have that quick resource by any chance that we could pull up to the group?
I thought I had it in this binder and it's not.
We'll get that to you guys, for those of you like, I don't know where it is, because it would have been posted a long time ago for you to look up. But you can also look up Cardology chart. Put Cardology chart, Google. You should get a big full chart with the months and the dates, and you'll see all the suits of the cards running through this chart. So anybody that's here and you don't know what you are, Char, she's like, I'm a 7 of hearts. Kim, what are you? I'm sure I probably told you this once upon a time. If you guys don't know, I mean, we have our books. Nancy and I always have our charts and books and stuff around us. So we can have a look. Yeah, Cards of Life, Cardology. There's so many websites out there. But you want the chart. So Shar, that 7, we kind of talked a little energetic before about the 7 in this group, that spiritual, intuitive, a teacher that comes in with that 7 energy, and then you're adding that heart energy, active, bright, fresh, stepping out there with that energy from the heart center with that 7. Kim, put your birth. I just need your month and your date, and we'll call your card up for you. Rosalie, I know you're here, and Lisa, possibly you guys are still here. Rosalie, you would know what yours is for sure because you've
It's a
done a lot.
six of clubs, the same as me,
She's a six of clubs.
from what I remember. I was like, I could
Right.
be wrong,
And
but
I I remember actually her making a comment
I
about
did post the chart in the group. I couldn't post it in the comments. It wouldn't let me post
yeah,
a
no,
picture, but it's in the group if anybody needs it.
yeah, and a
Uh,
separate little thing there. December 2nd, Nancy, do you want to pull up
okay,
December 2nd
you
for
bet.
Kim? And Rosalie's like, yep,
Oh,
six.
three of diamonds.
Three of diamonds?
Yes.
Oh, that totally makes sense for you, Kim. Three of diamonds, Kim. So we'll get to the diamonds here in a moment. Um, so let's move on to our clubs, and I'll start with that one. So we move to the clubs next. And of course, we have the black colored cards now. So now the black colors, so the clubs and the spades are representing that more, that internal reflection, right? It's has more of a rest to it, right? You have to kind of slow down, be silent, and go within. So there isn't as much pushing out energy. And I say pushing out, but you know what I mean? There isn't that where those hearts just you feel it, right? The energy is coming out, where the clubs and the spades, the energy is here, here, here. It's calmer. And the clubs are about communication, how we are using words and communicating ourselves and to others, and how we're receiving that. It's got a very Mercury kind of energy, the clubs. We also have how we're receiving, like our downloads, our connection with our higher self, our wisdom, and be able to hear and um, take the wisdom, hear ourselves, right? And also that connection with divine, what that is. And if if you're someone that's works a spirit, is highly intuitive, is a medium, is a channeler, any of those, it's how you're receiving that flow and energy, and also what you do with it. But also that communication back, because we have that communication up within ourselves, and how we talk to ourselves with spirit, with source, whatever that are, your guides, whatever it looks like, but then our communication outwards to each other. And so like I said, I think a lot of the Mercury energy then, because Mercury is all about that. And also there is that the travel and things like that when it comes to the clubs. And also we think of like someone in the field that is a writer, is a speaker, right? Shares out wisdom, or even someone that's like really great of sharing in their or leading to help and support and organize people and groups and companies and business, and that there's that essence in there. What would you like to add to the
Um,
being a clubs yourself?
I love everything you said, right? I was like, oh yes, yep, yep. And just that really that like honoring that space and being like, we often so hard on our minds, right? We're like, oh, like we judge ourselves so hard for judging ourselves, right? So the clubs really wants to help to support you in knowing that your innate wisdom, magic, and power that is within your thoughts, and to help you have that clear channel that we talked about, right? And like that giving and receiving, it's two ways. And so tapping into your heart energy to then nurture your mental energy, and remembering that it is that more receiving energy, but it's that pathway and that connection to each other. And I love like the 3 points of the club, like remembering that we're always mind, body, spirit. Like it's not just mind gets to take it and run, right? Like we want to always be within connection, and it helps us to find our connection and to be able to voice what is in our heart, to be able to voice what's coming in their diamonds energy and what we're about to talk about, and then in the spades energy. Like it's our way to express it into the world.
Yeah. So you
Mhm.
can see how the suits, right? We said we start with the hearts and then we're moving up that growth. And if you think of that even in our growth, as I like to look at it as our journey from when we're birthed into the world and nurturing and what we need, and then what do we start to do? We start to express, understand how we express what we need, right? Even as a child, like different tones, different cries, and then the words that start coming out, the listening. Even you see that in the babies, right? They're like, oh, they start receiving. So there's that nice reflection in life of how we are birthed and we grow into this world, and we also think that it just in relationships, we feel connected, love, things bloom within those deeper, intimate uh, relationships, be even in our friendships and people we want to be around. And then we start to learn how to actually communicate and listen and get to know each other within those energetics. So then that's that next stage, right? And I love what you said there, Nancy, about the three. And funny, did you get that by Jessica by any chance?
No, that actually just as I looked down at the cards was like, oh my goodness, I need to say something about this.
Did that just
So,
drop in for you?
yeah.
Okay, because I've never looked at it that way. And I just know that there's certain people other numerologists and people that teach us, there's some people that really like Mocha. I don't know if you know Mocha.
Yeah.
There's just certain people, they really see the shapes, the number, like things like
Mhm.
that. I'm like, I never thought of that. That is so great with the clubs, how we do need that balance. Um,
Mhm.
Now we didn't say the highs and lows over in well, we talked about the highs, the empowered state of the hearts. But we didn't talk about kind of like that lower disempowered state, because there
Right.
is every card's going to have the essence. We're not going through the whole 52 cards. But there is a high and low just with the essence, right? So the clubs, right? When we are empowered and learning and mastering and growing, things are clear, right? Our mind is clear, our communication is clear, the awareness, the observation. And then when we're kind of disempowered, and that's when we add in those numbers and it kind of tells you what area and why and all that to it. But when we're in the kind of a lower disempowered, we're learning and we have that chance to move ourselves on up, and we need duality. Um, but the lower side of it would be you just can't think. Foggy brain, too much information, can't receive your own higher wisdom. Or if you're someone that works with spirit and divine sense, like, I can't receive anything, or I'm so confused what you're saying, or there's too much channels. If you guys work with me with intuition, channeling, or any of those things, I talk about that. It's like, is too many channels open, right? So then we're bringing it in. And it also what we're putting out in our projects and creating out there too, when it comes to learning, language, teaching. How is that coming through? And just as you can see and maybe notice right now, I'm just grounding my energy a little bit more to allow the essence of it to come a little more slow, a little more clear in what I'm doing. But we know that when we're rushing about, we're nervous, our energy is a little free, blah, 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 right? And then we're like, that's the lessons, right? We get to realize within the highs and lows, the embodiment, the disembodiment, whatever, light, shadow, whatever parts you want to give those sides to. So Nancy, just going back, what would you say, just to retrace over to that heart, the lower
Mhm.
essence, or anything you want to add to the clubs,
Yeah,
obviously?
yeah. No, I think for the hearts, right? It's that loneliness, feeling isolated. When you feel like you've got to do it all on your own, you're not being supported. Um, you might find conflict within yourself, like not being able to listen to your heart, not knowing what you truly desire. Everybody else's opinions matter more than your own. Like, so when you're in that low, and you're not connected with your own heart, so it's hard to even start to connect with others because you're like, oh, like, right. So, in order to shift that, right? Like, taking that time and then working with the clubs, getting quiet, right? To heal whatever is happening for you in your heart, right? I love how they all partner together. And I loved how you like those progressions, right? The baby, right? And then as we move into the diamonds, we're going to move kind of into that toddler, like that physical. Like I always think of toddlers as very physical beings, right? But anyway. Mhm.
Yeah. And so even as we see that progression from the hearts to the clubs in the lower side,
Mhm.
um, is the hearts, right? We can, that hurt, the pain, the confusion, not knowing self, also taking on and doing too much, losing
Mhm.
self-care, self-love, and putting it so much over to somebody else. And then with the clubs, that lower side, in regards to, say, relationships, is not being able to express your feelings or what you need or the clarity of things. And, in relationships, communication is probably one of the biggest things out there in all kind of relationships, the miscommunication, not be able to articulate, but not be able to drop into the heart and know and hear and all those things that go with it to be able to do that. So hopefully you guys, if you guys are here, are you feeling that essence and that for the suits themselves? Let us know in the comments. So moving on to our diamonds. Our diamonds. Who are
So
diamonds? Who believe diamonds? And that's we got a few diamonds. Let us know if you are a diamond. So today, like at the beginning of this, Nancy said it's a 10 of diamonds day. I believe Kasha is a 10 of diamonds. I don't think Kasha's in our community, but she is one of the people in co-writing the book, along with Adrian is here in the community on the chat.
Okay.
And she is ready. I believe you're doing the ace, Adrian. And so 10 of diamonds. That always, when I think of the time 10 of diamonds, I'm like, bring it on, baby. I want 10 of diamonds. I want to rub up against
Totally.
the 10 of and diamonds, but especially in those later aspects of them. Because why? Money, money, money. They're really good. The diamonds are connected a lot with the finances, but this material world, our world, how we're creating our security, this life, like it's the tangible life, and what else would you add to that? I mean, there's so many things we could add to a diamond. What would you say?
Right, it's like it's your physical world, like bringing all of your heart's desires, your thoughts, your dreams. Now it's time for them to be here in this reality with you. It's around that creation experiences, like mining for gold, like finding all that goodness in life, right? Whatever that may be. Like, yes, obviously the gold. Me and Declan are studying about some gold mines around us right now. And of course that feels exciting. But what else is the gold in your life? Like those relationships, like those feel like gold, making those connections with people, being open to receive, reaping what we sow. It's also related to our values. Like what is important to you? What do you value? What do you honor? How do you express that in the world? And so then if you're on the disempowered side, maybe you're living a little bit out of alignment with your values, right? And it's like, oh, okay, now what do I need to do to bring that back? Um, it is like the diamonds have that four sides to the shape of the diamond, right? So it's like there's some stability there, wanting to hold. It's now it's a container. That's what I'm looking for who you are and how you get to express that out into the world. It's also that red energy that we talked about. So really outwardly, it is related to the earth element, right? So really grounded here, tangible things that we can touch, feel, and experience.
Yeah. So, that four sides of the diamond, right? We can also like what is the foundation. So if we take that and we put it down onto the earth, and what is our foundation so that we can be stable, and what stability and all that means to you. What does home mean to you? It says, we bring in that safety, the root chakra in there, that essence. And what needs a reminder, what needs to be planted or anchored in, right? So there's the, that, remember, red, action oriented. You have to do action oriented out into the world too when you're working with the diamonds, right? To be able to feel it, see it, experience it in your life. And so, with the foundations, even that part, it's like, what do you want? You have to do the reflection. What do you want to bloom and grow, and what do you want to have? Now, because we talked about finances and money, it doesn't mean like you have to be someone's like, I need millions and millions of dollars. It's whatever that financialness is for you, when it's in currency of energy of money, but it can also be just the currency of like abundance of things and resources that you need and that they feel good. So when when it's off and unstable and we need to do a little work with it, you may feel like you don't know where you belong, where you're going next, what the next step is. Home life could feel like, oh, and and of course, when we meet all the numbers to the diamond, and I'm going to go with a 5 here because I'm writing about fives in this book. Fives want that freedom. So there's stability, but then they want to be going, right? They want to be out there exploring too when we meet a 5 with a diamond. So just to say that, it doesn't mean you have to be, the diamond's energy doesn't mean you have to be one place stuck and stopped. It's just that you feel that in your life and you have some good, really solid plans with finances, with your plans, where you're going, what you're doing, and that wherever that is, you feel really abundant, resourced, well in it. Yeah. Yeah. So highs, you don't really worry about anything. You just go and you got everything. Everything's like, you do worry about things. You put the energy obviously into what you need, fine tune. And the lower, it shakes you up a little bit. Your stability gets shaken up. Moving on to our spades, which I love because I'm a spades energy. And we got the 6 of spades because that's my card. Anybody else, possibly spades or no spades? I do love the spade. So we, we went from the hearts, the growth, and then the communications with the clubs, then making our place and our stability in our home and our career and all those things with the diamonds. You can see that growth happening. And then we get up to the spades. And I also reflect with these stages of life too. You can look at that. So there's this layering, not only with seasons and personal human growth, but there's also like the higher, so from child and where we are to adolescence to adulthood diamonds, and then up to the spades. It always has that elder feel to it, right? And I always think wintertime up there on the wheel. So we could do spring hearts, summer clubs, diamonds in the autumn, and then up in the north in the winter is our clubs. If you're someone that is like me, who likes these seasons, these cycles, and these wheels, I can see how this is all layering in. And so once again, of course, it's that inner reflection, that it's a black card, it's the deepness, it's connected to wisdom, us knowing ourselves. We have grown through. So when I say we've been growing through this, I'm not saying, and I will speak very highly of a spade, Capricorn, winter solstice girl right here, crone walking energy. So there's this anchoring, this foundational. We all need where we are. We all need parts. We all go through every suit. So it's not saying that, oh, you get to the spades and woohoo, you made, check it off, gold stars. And I do like to give my gold stars, as Nancy knows, as being a student of mine and things. I like my gold stars to my students. But there is that where doesn't matter what our age is, we are working towards that wisdom and mastery within ourselves in all parts of our lives. So you get to that spade and that knowing to go in and hear and listen and trust and fine tune, right, into the more of the mastery. and the journey that we've gone. So there is that air quality element. We haven't talked about the elements, but there's that air quality. And I did talk about the tarot and the reflection just when we started with the suits, but every suit can be seen with a reflection, obviously a tarot for those that work with the tarot. So we're getting with those swords, and swords are rough in tarot. They're, but here's the thing. We have this spade. You're gonna talk about this. We'll talk about the spade itself into the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Digging.
I find that a lot of spade energy and people in swords in tarot, you may experience a lot of these dark nights of the soul because you're in tower moments, because you're going down to get the wisdom, because kind of like you're like, I signed up for this. And the wisdom with the spade has us going down into that inner reflection. So we can look at that, right? It goes deeper because it really wants to know so that it can rise up into that embodiment and mastery. Also, it's kind of have, their challenges and everything like that. But there's something about the essence of that final suit in wintertime that happens there. Nancy?
Yes. Right. And it has a lot of that energy of faith, devotion, integrity, like wanting to really pull forth from you who you truly are. And so like sometimes that digging does feel uncomfortable because you have all of this beautiful wisdom and magic that maybe you've been afraid to show and express back in the clubs and stuff like that. And it's like the spades wants to come in and say, come on, let it come out. Let's go inward so that you can then come back to your heart again and express it, right? And it's like, it really wants to call you higher. So it's like a little bit relentless is the word that just kind of dropped in there, right? Like your soul knows why it came here. And it really doesn't want to let your humanness hide from that. It really wants to be like, okay, it will bring out those lessons. It will bring those opportunities for you to step into that next level of that mastery that you spoke about. So yeah, it can be uncomfortable, but also knowing that you have these 4 other beautiful spoots to hold you and support you in that growth. And it can also be super freaking fun when it starts clicking and you're like, yes, this is what my soul's essence is here for. And that feels good. So knowing that, allowing it to rise up to get to that other side, the so we talked about digging with the spade, right? Like getting up to the top of like your soul's growth. It's not, and once again, it's all about you. It's not about other people. It's not spades are higher ranking or whatever. It's your self mastery and getting to those higher levels of your soul's calling.
Yeah. So when you think about the elder,
Mhm.
um, the crone, those kind of terms and archetypes, um, those are the people that we typically, if they've been mastering and doing their work as in their journey, because we all have our journey in every
Mhm.
aspect of all these suits. But typically there's this embodiment and knowing in a strong silent type. Like
Yes.
it's just an essence. Because there has been a deeper journey. Um, and what I like, like I said, not to say, oh, because I love my spades and my Capricorn and my North Scorpio can really get into understanding that. But when we know our suit, even where we are, just leaving out our number for a bit on with that card. But if we know our suit, it does point to a certain path or essence or top notes
Mhm.
of what we wanted to run through and master and learn about more so on this life journey. So yeah, the spade can be a little bittersweet, but yet you're built for it because this is what you said you want to come in at a particular time. And that's why I like adding astrology um to things, because then you can see your other reflection, how you're meeting each other in your suits and then your numbers and everything else. So Nancy, who is a 6 of clubs, she's also a Leo sun. You know, she's got that action oriented, the passion, the getting out, the leadership within that Leo energy, the sun, because that's the ruling planet of Leo. With that, and there's that 6 with the clubs, like there is a communication and moving out there. And we'll just leave 6 energy, but you know, because we've talked about that, we could be here all day. But knowing that that's feeling her, and then she would add her rising, which is Capricorn, and like all the different things. And yeah, it really, I find these cycles and that really support us getting a cleaner, clearer picture that helps us understand ourselves and our path. So Mara, I know you're here, you were here. If you know your Cardology, your sun card, drop it in there. You just had a birthday. I think it was February 10th. February 10th. That's what Julie's, that's in our community that has done a couple of lives. She is February 10th too.
The 2 of spades.
The 2 of spades, right. Right. I have a few 2 of spades. I am your reflection mirror, just so you know that. With those 2 of spades. Forget what that card, cosmic, which one is it called on our bigger, you know how we have our reward and
Yeah.
that one is like the opposite side, just wherever it flips. And I just do know that 2 of spade is mine to be of a mirror reflection and
Yeah.
support for people. Is there anything else you want to add about our suits?
No, I hope that the intention behind this was so that when we're talking about the day energy and the suits and stuff, we're always throwing it out there. We just really wanted to have this call to help you guys to be able to understand that from our forecasts, and just to be able to take a look at your own card and just be a little bit like, oh yes, okay, own a bit more of who you are. Ask questions. Like, if you look up your card and you're like, I have no idea what you're even talking about, even after listening to this, type it in the comments. There are so many brilliant numerologists in this group as well, who everybody feel free to chime in. Like, let's start to make this or continue to expand this to be the language that people are using and understanding, to have a better understanding of self and to better understanding of those that we are in relationship with. And like, it's just such a beautiful tool that we get to use to help to put language to this experience that we're having called life.
Yeah. So when you hear us talk during our forecasts that we do, and you hear us say, oh, we're starting this month off in the clubs and we're finishing off with the blah, blah, you have a sense of what we're coming in with at the start, even if it was clubs. And I can't remember where, I don't have my calendar, what we came in with. It would be spades still.
Yeah, it's been
The
spades
first
all.
spades. First 4 months we start off on spades. So, we look at that essence and inner reflection, which aligns with the time of the year and the wheel of the year, but we won't go there. Roberta does have a series coming up in a couple of weeks, giving you top little notes of those 3 things I just said. So if you're wanting to dive a little bit more, there's that. And yeah, I just love that. I mean, this felt really good, Nancy, doing this, just dropping in, say, hey, let's give you a little teaser, a little information of Cardology, and so it can support you a bit more in your life. So thank you for joining us. Thank you, Nancy. And guys, have a lovely day. Our temperatures are already getting warmer out here in Ontario. Nancy's waiting from the out west. You said, right? Warm weather's coming for those of you, because we have a lot of people in this community that are out west. So enjoy the next few days. We have a week left before we actually get to spring. So enjoy. Bye for now, guys.
Bye.